Hi y'all, I'm Frankie, coming to you with 12 of this week's best-selling fiction books and what people are saying about them. First off, at number 1, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. In a quiet town on the North Carolina coast in 1969, a young woman who survived alone in the marsh becomes a murder suspect. Kirkus Reviews calls this piece of nature-infused romantic fiction charming, despite its implausibilities and monochromatic characterization, with Publishers Weekly describing it as an evocative debut with an unforgettable heroine. Number 2, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, in which the lives of twin sisters who run away from a southern black community at age 16 intertwine, as one returns home and the other takes on a different racial identity. Kirkus Reviews and Publishers Weekly both gave this book starred reviews, with Kirkus calling it a rich, sharp story about the way identity is formed, comparing it to Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. Publishers Weekly called it impressive, saying that Bennett renders her characters and their struggles with great compassion and explores the complicated state of mind that Stella finds herself in while passing as white. Number 3, The Guest List by Lucy Foley, in which a wedding between a TV star and a magazine publisher on an island off the coast of Ireland turns deadly. Publishers Weekly calls The Guest List an entertaining if uneven mystery, saying that the tension of the setup isn't quite matched by the reveals, though the nicely creepy setting compensates somewhat. Number 4, Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This is a Twilight companion novel told from the vampire Edward's point of view, in which Edward's broody inner monologue allows readers to follow every beat of his falling in love. Kirkus Reviews describes it as a love letter to fans who will forgive and even revel in its excesses and indulgences. Fans have been waiting a long time for this novel, as Stephanie Meyer was already working on it back in 2008, but put the project on hold when 12 chapters of the unfinished manuscript were leaked. Number 5, A Private Cathedral by James Lee Burke. This is the 23rd book in the Dave Robichaux series. Rival Louisiana crime families and a time-traveling superhuman assassin bring up Robichaux's personal demons. Kirkus Reviews describes it as not the best installment in this much-honored franchise, but the one that best explains its incantatory power. On the other hand, Publishers Weekly gave it a starred review, calling it a superb, imaginative blend of crime and other genres that is exquisitely executed and profoundly moving. Number 6, American Dirt by Janine Cummins, in which a bookseller flees Mexico for the United States with her son while pursued by the head of a drug cartel. Kirkus Reviews gave this a starred review, calling it a terrifying and tender novel, intensely suspenseful and deeply humane. However, the novel has faced criticism, with some Latinx authors calling it an example of cultural appropriation. Author and activist Miriam Gerba described it as a Trumpian fantasy of what Mexico is, and a noxious work masquerading as a piece of progressive literature. Number 7, Choppy Water by Stuart Woods. This is the 54th book in the Stone Barrington series. Things get rough for Stone as he goes after criminals in New York City and Key West. Kirkus Reviews says that despite the allegedly high stakes, Woods delivers all the facile thrills of an unusually sedate video game. Publishers Weekly is more positive, noting that with its high political stakes, this is one of the better recent entries in the long-running series. Number 8, The Order by Daniel Silva. This is the 20th book in the Gabrielle Allen series. The art restorer and Israeli spy cuts his family's vacation short to investigate whether Pope Paul VII was murdered. Kirkus praises Silva's use of far-right villains and his handling of topical issues, such as Europe's xenophobia towards both Jews and new waves of immigrants from Africa and Asia. They gave the book a starred review, calling it another thoughtfully entertaining summer read from Silva. Publishers Weekly also notes the wild plot and cartoonish bad guys, and says that newcomers may find the contrivances too much to swallow, but series fans will know to leave their disbelief behind. Number 9, 28 Summers by Ellen Hilderbrand, in which a relationship that started in 1993 between Mallory and Jake comes to light while Mallory is on her deathbed and Jake's wife runs for president. Kirkus gave this a starred review, saying that Hildebrand gets everything right and sets the gold standard in escapist fiction. Number 10. First Case by James Patterson and Chris Tebbets. After getting kicked out of MIT, Angela Hoot interns with the FBI and tracks the murderous siblings known as the Poet and the Engineer. This currently has 4 stars on Goodreads. Number 11. Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. A reimagining of the classic Gothic suspense novel, Mexican Gothic is a story about an isolated mansion in 1950s Mexico, and the brave socialite drawn to its treacherous secrets. Publishers Weekly describes Mexican Gothic as an energetic romp through the Gothic genre, and Kirkus Reviews calls it visceral and heart-pounding, adding that fans of Gothic classics like Rebecca will be enthralled as long as they don't mind a heaping dose of all-out horror. And finally, number 12. Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. This page-turning and big-hearted story about race and privilege is set around a young black babysitter, her well-intentioned employer, and a surprising connection that threatens to undo them both. Kirkus gave this a starred review, calling it charming, challenging, and so interesting you can hardly put it down, while Publishers Weekly says, Reed crafts a nuanced portrait of a young black woman struggling to define herself apart from the white people in her life.